Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars, and let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 3-day time frame for Bitcoin, because we are still facing this critical area of resistance here, sitting at around 112k in the Bitcoin price. Besides that, on this 3-day time frame, we actually have a bearish signal flashing, which is this bearish divergence here, which is when you have higher highs in the Bitcoin price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator. Typically, this plays out either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum. Of course, so far we have already seen a decent amount of bearish momentum here, but notice how right here, after breaking through this level of support, we are now chopping below this level of support and have not seen a proper reclaim of that 112k level. So for now, especially with this candle closing at about 2.5 hours, this is potentially starting to look like a rejection after breaking down below, indicating that potentially we are going to see some kind of breakdown, retest, resumption to the downside from here. But let me also show you some different points of confluence, not only for this bearish idea, but potentially also some bullish setups for Bitcoin here. Because just like I said in yesterday's video as well, the first bullish confirmation for Bitcoin here is actually breaking above this 111.8k level. In the case that we actually reclaim that level, then we are able to start looking for another next move to the upside. However, if we get some kind of fake out, like we get a candle close above and then fake out back down below, as soon as we're closing back below 111.8k, guys, that is already a warning signal here in the short term. So look out for that. And another potentially bullish signal to look out for here in the short term is, well, one thing is simply that we are holding inside this big level of support, sitting from 112 all the way down to 110k. And besides that, if we were to now see a bounce to the upside, notice how if we are getting a candle close above this 112.5k level, roughly speaking, but if we are going to see candle closes above that level here, above these previous highs, then we are actually starting to see a different kind of structure. Because notice how right here we were just getting lower lows and lower highs over and over again. So now if we are breaking this structure by actually setting higher lows and higher highs as well, then that is actually turning into a bullish structure for Bitcoin, which is of course also a bullish signal in the short term. So that is something to keep an eye on here as well. I'm not going to dive into these immediate short-term low time frames here, because right now we are in a weekend and I'm not seeing any huge volatility during this weekend. So I'm just going to leave it at that for this weekend, guys. And of course, tomorrow I'm going to check back in and actually prepare for trading these lower time frames once again, because when I make this video on Sunday, we are about to head into a new week of trading. And of course, we have to be ready for that. Now moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 2-week time frame, right here we do have quite a bit of liquidity to the upside at around 113.9k, but we also have a bunch of liquidity below here at about 107. In the case that you are not familiar with this chart, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity, which right now technically is simply to the upside on this 2-week time frame specifically. But notice how if I zoom out all the way to this 1-year time frame, here we can actually see that most of the liquidity is sitting at around that 107k level that I showed you earlier, just below these previous lows that we saw recently around the end of August. And this is why I'm still keeping an eye on a potential move to the downside, so long as we are not breaking through those critical areas of resistance that I have been talking about in this video as well, right? So that is what we first need to see. We need to see some kind of bullish confirmation, because until then, I am assuming we are going to take out these lows, which I don't know if anyone is expecting at this point, because I'm seeing everyone flip bullish here. But for me personally, I like waiting for a bit more confirmation, because for now, I'm just looking at us not breaking this critical area of resistance and having a bunch of liquidity down here, which I am just going to assume that that is going to be swept so long as we are not breaking at least this 111.8k level with 2-day candle closes. Now, lastly, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow table, because yesterday we saw another big outflow from these Bitcoin ETFs, about $150 million flowing out in a single day of trading. Overall, these ETFs have just been buying a little bit, selling a little bit, not having a major upwards or downwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. So overall, that is not too much to worry about right now. Either way, this has been today's market update. Make sure to check back in with tomorrow's video, guys, because I'm going to show you everything that you need to look into before we head into this new week of trading. But either way, if you do end up showing up tomorrow or not, thank you for watching once again, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in the next one.